up, guys? This is Mark from Destiny, and I just got back from the gym, but I got an email asking one of our clients wanted to hire a virtual assistant to help in growing his dropshipping business, right? And I wanted to kind of address that and go through like my experiences with that and so on, and kind of give you an idea of how to make that decision, when to make that decision, that type of thing. So, hiring a VA is a great idea theoretically speaking, right? You want to be able to duplicate yourself, you want to be able to save more time, you want to be able to get work done, and you just want to grow your business, right? Now, I've had experience with VAs, I've had experience with high-end guys in-house to run my eBay account, and it's a good idea generally speaking, right? But there's certain things you have to take into consideration. Hiring a VA is like hiring a lot of you guys like myself who has gotten into eBay dropshipping has never had any experience in hiring before. So you have to take the process of hiring a virtual assistant very importantly. It's just as if a lot of people, because they make money at home, they may feel like they don't treat it as a real business, but imagine if you had an office downtown, whatever city you're in, and you have resumes coming in, and you want that you're going through all these resumes to hire someone to help you with your business. That is the level of care that you have to take when hiring a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant could make or break your business because you're basically handing over certain activities to someone, right? So let me just kind of go in more on the drop shipping, like directly things to think about when hiring a virtual assistant to help with your dropshipping, right? So before you even get to thinking about hiring a virtual assistant, you should have experience in every aspect of your dropshipping business. You should have listed successfully already. You should be making money consistently. You should be be you should have done the customer service. You should have called eBay. You should have processed returns already. And I see to some of you guys that may seem obvious, right? To me, I would think I need to know every part of this shit before I hand it off to someone else. But I'm seeing more and more guys who are doing this part time, who don't have the time to work in their own business, try to hand off some of the responsibility to someone else who has more time and expect things to just work. Where that's just not going to happen. Now with DSGME, with the software, luckily we put a lot of parameters in place, a lot of controls in place with the listing process. So even if you hire a virtual assistant to list using DSGME, they can't really screw it up too much, right? But before you even think about hiring someone, you should be successful first. Don't try to bring your success from a virtual assistant. Get that success before you hire someone. Don't use your money from your job to hire a virtual assistant here to magically grow your eBay business. I've seen maybe one person do that, but that generally isn't going to work. So first, if you're not successful in eBay dropshipping, don't even start thinking about the virtual assistant. I remember a guy who was in DSGNE, hire a virtual assistant before he was making any money, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, he doesn't have any time, and if you don't have any time, just don't do it, because you don't want to hand over. Let's say a virtual assistant is screwing up. If you haven't been successful doing those things, you can't tell if the virtual assistant is doing a good job or not, right? Okay, so generally, you want to hire a virtual assistant to do one of a couple things, right? You want to hire a virtual assistant to either list, which is one part of the dropshipping business. You want to hire a virtual assistant, and guys, please take notes because I don't have a lot of text in these videos. So you want to have, there are three main sections that makes this whole thing work. Listing, that means creating listings with proper pricing and with a proper source to buy it from. Customer service, meaning that, so you can hire virtual assistants to do customer service, meaning answering questions, processing returns, answering questions on items, answering questions on delivery and so on, and fulfillment, meaning ordering, right? So there are three parts that you can hire a virtual assistant for, and I'll go through the pros and cons of hiring for each one. Listing, customer service, fulfillment. Okay, so let's go through listing first. Before I had DSGNE, I used to say that you should never hire a virtual assistant to list, right? Because no one I love listing personally because when I find an item that I know is going to sell with a good profit margin, you feel good about it. You feel like you're in the war. Well, me personally, I feel like I'm in the war. I'm fighting. I'm fucking out there looking for something good to sell. I find it, boom. I feel happy about it. I know it's going to sell. I've got to the point where when I list an item, I know 80% chance it's going to sell. I've had 100% sell-through rate for months, for like 6 months. So the listing portion of it, I personally don't like to outsource my listing part for one of two things. One, because I like it the most. That's just me personally, and my buddy Ross, who's in TSM, he said the same thing. He likes listing, but more importantly, you want to have, you want to be in control of your own destiny. When I list my own items, right? I know exactly the what 207 listings or so we have listed, and if my, I know I sell about $3,000 a day. It ranges from like 2,000 to maybe 5,000 a day, depending on the day, right? But if I see like 3, 4, 5 days, I'm hitting like $1,000 in sales a day, $1,500 in sales a day, because I've listed everything, and because I remember, if those of you who have followed our process, we don't list a lot. We have small number of listings, right? So if I see sales go down, I have a pulse on my business. I have a pulse on what's selling, what's not selling, right? So as soon as I see sales go down, I know, okay, that chest of drawers I sell like 5 times a day when it's 35 bucks from Kmart. Maybe that's going up in price and I'm losing sales there. Or this bicycle I sell like 2 a day. Maybe it's out of stock, so let me check that. Or that basketball hoop that I buy from Academy, that's out of stock. Or maybe it's not out of stock, or maybe there's a lot of competition. So let me go check that, right? And I say that because having a pulse on your business does two things. It allows you to be able to maneuver and make it more sustainable for the long term, and you just have more control. You have control of your own destiny. You don't want to put, me personally, you don't want to put give your success over to someone else, right? That, in my opinion, that's not a supporting role. Listen is a lead role. But so you kind of get an idea. I personally don't like to list because I like to have control of my business. I like to understand what's being sold. I know what sells a lot, what doesn't sell a lot. I know if sales go down to look there or look there, and I know to maneuver really quickly to get sales back up, right? Now I've seen there's a guy in our group, Mike, right? He's outsourced. He's outsourced his listing process. So he has someone that lists all the time. So that kind of counteracts the sustainability. I like to have a small amount of listings, 200, maximum 500 listings, and just keep selling it. Just keep crushing and pulling money out, right? So that's my thing. So I can chill, I know what's selling and so on. Mike, on the other hand, who may have a virtual assistant, his sustainability model is that they're listing all the time. So even if we get competition, even if something goes out of stock, they're listing at a sufficient rate that sales orders come in, right? But they're always going to have to list. And luckily, what DSDN has with the listing process allows that to happen. Because we, we, we limit the options you have at every step of the listing process to ensure that you're listing quality items, right? So that's just my thoughts on hiring a VA for the listing process. Now, let's talk about hiring a VA for the customer service process, right? And just remember, hiring a VA is a good idea. I'm just going through the different things you have to think about when going through the process, and just dot the I's and cross the T's when going through it, right? So you want to hire a virtual assistant for customer service. And I'm going to do a video about something that's pertaining to this. Before you do that, you want to understand what is the defect rate in eBay. The defect rate in eBay can make or break your business, right? I'm going to make a video maybe today or later today or tomorrow on the defect rate. But the defect rate is not the feedback, score. And defect rate change maybe once a year, twice a year. But the defect rate is what makes you a above average seller, a top rated seller, or below average seller, right? And I look really sweaty. Sorry guys, I just came from the gym. But anyway, let me finish this. So before you hire a virtual assistant to do your customer service, you should understand clearly what the defect rate is, so you could look, you know that you have to make sure they answer questions on time, you have to make sure that they don't leave cases or requests for eBay to be closed, and you want to make sure, that's basically the main two things when it comes to customer service. So you want to make sure and understand the defect rate. Once you understand the defect rate, you know what to look for, and you know, for instance, my guys, I tell them, if you open a message, answer it. You can't open a message and then put it back as new. If you open a message, answer it. And you want to finish every day with no messages, right? So before you hire someone for customer service, understand exactly what the defect rate from eBay means, and then hire to suit, and keep an eye on those key points that change the defect rate. Now, the last thing, fulfillment. Now, we are bringing out an auto orderer who is developed already. We just have to sit down and implement it. Thanks to Chris, it's developed. But when you want to hire someone for fulfillment, for ordering your items, you have to remember that you put in your credit card, you put in gift cards in the hands of someone, right? That is the biggest risk that you have to take into consideration. If you have a credit card, you could also call and get it fixed and all that type of stuff. So it's not a huge risk, but it's just something you have to think about. And then you want to make sure that orders are placed immediately, right? One thing I've noticed, right? So with one of our accounts, we use a virtual assistant out of the Philippines to place the orders, and that is really fucking interesting because of the time difference. The orders that come in during the day today get ordered during the day their time, which is during the night. So our items get fulfilled quickly because of the time difference. So I actually love that. So that is a really interesting thing. But the only thing you have to worry about with fulfillment is to get virtual assistants that you could trust, whether it's a company, whether it's whatever the case may be, put in certain controls so they can't just steal from you, and make sure that they keep up on it, right? Now, with any aspect of having a virtual assistant, you should have clear guidelines on what they need to do, with what time, and put certain rules in place to protect your business, because they're not going to build your business. They're just there to collect a check for the most part, right? Unless you give some incentives. I give some incentives to the guys who list for me, but on one of the accounts. But so that's just a couple things you want to think about when hiring people to hiring virtual assistants for your eBay business. I'll post another video about it. I just want to go through a couple things to think about, a couple things I thought about to help you kind of navigate what to do. I can help you interview some virtual assistants that we have here in Nicaragua. There are a lot of virtual assistants online on Odesk that are quality. And just one other thing, when you're doing customer service, you want to have virtual assistants that understand and have experience in customer service. And I say that because the United States, customers in the United States, which is our biggest market, dropshipping on eBay, expect the highest level of customer service, and that's not the same everywhere else in the world. So one of the disadvantages you're going to find is that when you hire virtual assistants that don't have experience with customers, US and European customer service, they may not take it as seriously as you would as someone in the US or in Europe, right? So that's just one other thing to think about. Anyway, I just want to give you all a quick, just show my face really quickly, give you all something that I was thinking about when I was at the gym. I figured I'd come and share with you guys. And yeah, again, shoot me any questions, subscribe. I'm looking forward to, we're like 40 away from getting the 100. I'll be posting videos pretty much every day. Check out the Ashini, check out the link in the description, check out the training. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Make that money. Fridays are usually the slower sales days, Sundays are the greatest. So have a good weekend and see you in the next video. Subscribe, please. Bye-bye.